Between my sister and me, my mother squeezed my hand, and I gave my attention back to Reverend Anne. "The Lord knows our hearts and our histories," Anne said, "and commands us not to judge, but to love one another, in heart, thought, and deed. Let us pray." The mourners rose with the shuffling of feet, the whispering of fabric, and more than one muttered groan that I chose to attribute to creaky knees rather than a reluctance to follow ministerial instruction. Anne had been 2 years ahead of me in high school, in the same class as Wendy and my sister Kiara. Her great-grandmother had been a sort of fostered child to our Murphy great-grandparents after her father, a local minister, was murdered. Our families had been close ever since. Family lore also said our great-grandmother had solved the crime, but no one knew for certain. Anne had returned to Jewel Bay only a year ago, but I was sure that, like me and every kid who'd left and come back, she drew on her hometown knowledge every day. And that made me wonder, as the sturdy preacher raised her face and arms to the heavens and called for the Lord's blessing on Gwendolyn Gottfried Taylor and those gathered here, whether the caution against judgment was one she shared at every funeral, or whether she had reason to remind this particular crowd of that most basic principle. I still can't imagine the girl I used to sneak out of study hall with for a smoke presiding on the altar, my sister said a few minutes later as we stood on the church's broad steps, blinking against the sunlight. Her name is said with a hard C and rhymes with tiara, but she was no princess. Neither was I, for that matter. Senior year, I went to homecoming with her brother Lonnie. He's a theoretical physicist for NASA. The kid voted most likely to be jailed is a rocket scientist. "Erin, hush," my mother Fresca, short for Francesca, said. One of the many challenges of running the family business has been learning to call my mother by her first name, at least when we were in the shop. The Christopherson kids were late bloomers. I'll say, Lonnie showed up wearing the jacket and shirt to a rented tux with board shorts and orange Chuck Taylors. My corsage was silk flowers he cut from the wreath on the front door with his pocket knife. Oh my gosh, I never heard that. Kiara had already left home for art school in San Francisco by then. Mom didn't kill him? And Dad didn't send him home to change? They didn't know until we showed up at the dance. They were chaperones, but the flowers matched my dress, so it was all good. Plus, he was a great dancer, and an even better kisser. "You girls are not helping me polish my glowing memories of your childhood," Mom said, but while the set of her jaw was stern, her dark eyes twinkled. "You would not have guessed we'd just left a funeral from all the laughter around us. Granny G's family were not a reserved bunch, siblings and cousins teasing each other, greeting friends with squeals of joy and slaps on the back. Even Wendy, who'd swapped her chef's jacket and cherry red rubber clogs for a sky blue linen tunic and loose-fitting black pants, seemed to light up among them. Actually, I knew her glow came from another source. I'd popped into the bakery one morning a few weeks ago and found her in the bathroom retching. After 10 years of marriage and 2 adoptions that fell through at the last minute, she was pregnant. Thrilled and terrified, she'd made me promise to keep quiet, under penalty of refusing to sell me another chocolate-filled croissant, ever. My sister says if you have a secret you need to keep, but you're itching to tell someone, tell Wendy. She'll carry it to the grave, along with her secret to perfect croissants. A few feet away, Uncle Frank, Granny G's twin brother, told a story, hands rising and falling. Wendy smiled, saying nothing. Max grinned, his arm around her waist. A gaggle of older women clustered around Frank's brother Al, the family flirt. Among Granny G's extended family were dairy farmers and teachers.